take one.
Hello, my name is Nicole Brown, better known as Nikki D, and the D stands for Dynamite. But I am here to just express who I am. I am a sacred steel guitarist from Toledo, Ohio, born in 1971. I've been playing the steel guitar for for 40 years. I've been playing for 40 years. But I want to give you a little history about myself. Right now, I'm playing with my family band that goes by the name of Nikki D and the Browns, and also known as the Sisters of Thunder. I'm going to kind of take you from the back and then bring it up to where I started from, but I'm going to give you my current situation. Right now, I'm able to play with my family. I've been blessed to be able to play with a blues guitarist by the name of Dom Turner in Australia. I've been blessed to play with a roots musician out of Canada by the name of King Whiteley. And I've also been blessed to play with an Afro-Cuban band that some of the members are stationed over in Cuba. And then the leader of the band, she's a Canadian lady. And it's an all-female Cuban band, and I've been blessed to be able to play with them as well. The instrument that I play is the sacred steel guitar. The original name when I was growing up was called the Hawaiian guitar. The Hawaiian guitar originated out of Hawaii, and I believe in the 1800s is when it incorporated to the Hawaiian guitar. They took just a regular guitar, instead of it being played this way, they put it on their lap, raised the strings some, and took the slide and make the luau sound. And so the Hawaiian guitar was the first time I've heard the instrument be introduced to me. I come from a family that sings. My father was a singer. He sung with a group here locally in Toledo, Ohio, by the name of the Pilgrim Wonders. This group is considered a quartet group, 4-part harmony, 3-part harmony quartet group. He sung with them for years. And my mother, she also was a singer. She sung with a group called the Queens of Harmony. When my parents got married, they both continued to sing with their separate groups, but then they started having children, started having a family. So one day my dad looked around, 4 girls, he looked around, he said, I could have my own group. So started his own group, which was us. At that time, we were singing a cappella. We sung with no music. My mother was like the drummer, and we would circle around her and play drums. But we traveled in our city locally, and we went as far as like Michigan. And I remember going to this little church, what we used to call out in the country, and you could hear the music playing from outside. It was like, oh wow, it's like, because we were used to music. We had a house full of you could hear music playing and records, but as far as since we weren't musicians, and I remember we went to sing and this music was being played. It was just just so amazing. I mean, they were having church, really having church. I'll let y'all know about that later too. But I was fascinated with the instrument, the Hawaiian guitar at the time. So as we continued to sing a cappella, my older sister started playing music. My daddy wanted to incorporate music, and I believe he did want to incorporate music because of us going around. We've seen other musicians as other singers, and so my sister started playing guitar. One of my sisters continued on the drums, and then another sister of mine played bass guitar. So we continued to sing as the Brown family singers. So we were the Brown family singers. Then we started visiting other churches again, singing music, and playing music, singing the gospel. And I run across this guitar again. I looked and I heard this song, and I remember asking my dad, "What is that? What guitar is that?" And it was called, like I said, the Hawaiian guitar. And I told my daddy that I wanted to play it. I wanted to learn how to play it. So we end up eventually joining that church. It was named Soul City House of God. We end up joining that church. So at 8 years old, here I am, fascinated with this instrument. All I knew was guitar, bass guitar, drums, and everything like that. So I started playing guitar. I had to take lessons. I started playing the Hawaiian guitar. 6 string was what I started on. Started to take lessons at a local music store. Began to play. It was the most awkward instrument because I wasn't accustomed to the feel. I was used to the sound because I've heard it, but I wasn't presenting or giving the sound that I heard. So then got a little discouraged, and then it was like, oh, I'm not sounding so good. And then the teacher I had, she was trying her best. My dad, being the amazing man that he was, he really researched, started finding out things. So the church that we went to that was in the country found out who they were, the Grace family, and he started, communicating with them. Some of them would be in our neighborhood because their grandmother lived in the neighborhood, and he started to incorporate guitar lessons and music lessons with the band and the musicians that I first heard play this instrument. So when I heard them play it and the way they taught me, I'm like, this is the sound. This is it. So I started really gravitating to that sound. Now let me give you some education about the sound. Even though the original name was Hawaiian guitar, the Church of the Living God, Mother Tate, her organization, started over 100 years ago. In the 1930s, they gravitated to this awesome instrument, the steel guitar. The difference with the sacred steel and the Hawaiian guitar sound has more of a harmony, more chords, more strumming. But when it got incorporated into the church, the steel guitar took the lead role of the church service. Just like with a piano, organ, if you go to a church or any type of band, the organ, piano, that's the main instrument. But in the Church of the Living God, the Mother's Tate children, the Mother's Tate church, the steel guitar was the thing. It was the thing. It was the sound, our culture, our heart, our soul, our very being is what made us the sacred steel community that we are today. So you've heard of the name Sacred Steel. The name got incorporated though in the 1990s, mid 1990s, but the sound has been around for years. And to make the distinction between Hawaiian guitar, country, western, you've seen the steel guitar, pedal steel guitar in the country music. But our genre, our culture, our music is sacred. We played our music and our instruments and our sound to the glory of God. We hit 3 worlds at one time. We give God glory when we play. We witness to others when we play. And then we defeat the devil when we play. So we hit 3 worlds at one time with this sacred steel music. It was always like a 4-piece band, 3-piece band. You had the sacred steel, you had the rhythm guitar, you had the bass, and you had the drums. And that's what made the sound. So even though my family, we always sung, we continued to sing, we continued to travel. And then I incorporated more of the music as we sung and traveled. Then later on, I took more of the lead role in my singing group. So I didn't play the steel guitar as much. I only played for church service, but I didn't really play for my group, a singing group. So in 1990, my dad passed away, and so I kind of had to gravitate more to the lead, and I did more lead singing and really concentrated on that, because I wanted to keep the group going, I wanted to keep things going. So I sung and I didn't play. So for about 10 years, I didn't play the steel on a regular basis. And within that time as well, the church that I grew up in, that I learned how to play, my pastor ended up moving, so I didn't play on a regular at church service. But about 12 years ago, I started back playing under the Sacred Strings Records Company Incorporated, LCC or LLC. So I started back playing, and that, like I said earlier, this instrument was very tedious for me even when I was a young girl. And by me not playing for 10 years, when I got back to playing, I almost didn't even know where my guitar was because I was concentrating more on singing. Got back to playing, oh my goodness, it was just like starting all over again. So I had to remember what I was supposed to do, what I didn't do, what I, So, but the sacred steel instrument is something that you have. It's just a part of you. Many people want to learn how to play it, what our tuning is, and how you come about. But it's this holistic thing with this music. It's just, it penetrates your very soul. And when I play, I've always been known to be considered wow. Like, I'm the wow child. It's like, because I'll feel the music before, others would feel it too, So I went back to playing, got back to playing this instrument. And so then our group gravitated more to the sacred steel. So now I'm known as Nikki D and the Sisters of Thunder. And I'm a part of the the folk and rhythm folk and roots festivals that I've been a part of. I've been able to play in what's considered gospel blues genre. I've been able to play in jazz settings, but I've always been able to play the gospel that I know about, that I sing about, that I was raised to know, and that have always penetrated my spirit and my heart. And when I play, some people try to ask me to really explain, like when you up there, I see you just play and you go and try to explain. I say it's hard to explain, because the one thing I am very thankful that God has gifted me with this gift, that he has blessed me to be able to play. And I never, would never set it down ever again. I would never bury it ever again. But I'm so thankful to be able to play and gifted to play and witness so many people that are excited, and they come up to me and say, your energy is great and your spirit is just so delightful, because I'm so thankful. He could have chose any other person to play, but he chose me, and I'm so grateful and thankful. But that whole time frame of not playing for 10 years and to come back to playing, I remember when I was trying to get things situated to play, set up to play, I had it really hard because I couldn't, my hands and my whole concept of how to approach this instrument was so different. I was somewhat confused, and I remember I prayed to God. I said, Lord, if you allow me to play and get it together where it's pleasing to your ears, to others' ears, I will never put it down again. And my cousin, the CEO of Sacred Strings, he said, we want to start doing these showcases. I want to really preserve the music and also present it at the same time. I want to preserve it because it's been in our family and our history, our church history for years. So I want to preserve it, but I want to present it as well. I want to give other steel guitarists a platform to be able to showcase their music. He said, so Nikki, I need you to get back to playing. So I'm like, Dale, I don't even know where my guitar at. So went back to playing. He did just a video clip so we could kind of get an idea of what what we would be doing, how it would be broadcast, or however we would do it, how it would be edited. So I got to playing and had a good time too. I was like, hey, Lord, you did that for me. I got it. I'm ready. I'm good. Got to playing. And so the next year we started the Sacred Steel Showcase. But about 5 years after that videotape that I was able to make, that my cousin Dale Grace recorded and produced, I got a message, an email from a blues guitarist in Australia, Sydney, Australia. I almost thought it was not true, because it's like, okay, what musician would want to reach out to me about coming there that way? So I didn't think it was true, but it was like, okay, they have festivals here. My music is delightful. They saw a video. And I'm trying to think, okay, what video would they have saw? We seen a video on YouTube of you playing your steel guitar, and we have been studying the sacred steel, and we have universities here that's doing doctorates about this music, and we would love to have you to be a part of the doctorate and to come overseas. So I said, well, I end up emailing back. We end up communicating. But the question I asked was like, what video was it that you saw? I was just curious, because it's like, from that point of me playing, going back to playing, and then by 5 years later, I had got better. You know, it was like I was building up, getting better, getting my strength and my, getting rid of all them weaknesses, building up my skills. And he showed me, he sent me the video. He sent me the link to YouTube. And it was the very video that Dale recorded when he said what his vision was, what he wanted to do to preserve and present that music. It was the very video that I recorded after not playing for 10 years. It was that video that this blues guitarist saw that struck his attention, that got his attention, that wanted me to come to Australia. I saw that, it blew my mind, and I instantly cried. I never forget that moment. I cried, and I said, Lord, I thank you for another chance to present this music in the original sound that it was created. I try to be as original as I can with the Sacred Still sound, the original sound that it was created. And since then, I've been able to go to Sydney, Australia 7 times. It would have been 8 times, but the coronavirus came in like a flood. But the Sacred Still is such a unique sound, such a unique instrument. It's a part of our culture, the Church of the Living God, House of God culture that's been in our blood all of our life, and it's all that I know. But it's different tunings out there, it's different musicians out there, it's different organizations out there, but I'm glad to be a part of the Sacred Still family. I am one of the queens of the Sacred Still, and I'm just honored to be a part. So with the Sacred Still genre of music, you're going to hear more about it because more people, we try to educate them to understand where we come from, what we're about, and what we're trying to do. We're trying to present this music and preserve it all at the same time. Once again, I'm Nicole, better known as Nikki D, your hostess with the mostest. Coming to you, and I thank you for this opportunity. Hopefully this was something that would help you to understand our culture better. Thank you.